Hi everyone, my name's Nikki and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this hat. It's not a difficult pattern. It can be made with any number 4 worsted weight yarn. I'm going to be using Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn in the colors Sunset and Hot Orchid. So you will need a 6mm J hook, a 5mm H hook, your scissors, your needle, and of course your yarn. I developed this pattern about a decade ago. I was living up in Watertown, New York, and I started crocheting hats for a local charity called the Urban Mission. I was crocheting ear flap hats and hats in the round. But the problem with when you're crocheting hats in the round is that they end up a very specific size and they do not have a lot of stretch. So what I wanted to do was find a pattern that had a lot of stretch and would fit a variety of heads, since I had no idea who the recipient would be. I did search for some patterns and didn't find anything that I was really overly thrilled with. So I started playing around with my yarn and writing down notes, and those notes are what I'm using to make this video today. However, if there's enough interest, I'd be more than happy to make this into a formal pattern, maybe a 1 or 2 page PDF that I could add to either my website or my Ravelry. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like me to do, and let's go make ourselves a hat. We'll begin with our 6mm J hook. We'll start by making a slip knot, and then we will chain 47 chains total. There's 46 for our hat, and then our turning chain. And now we will switch to our 5mm H hook for the remainder of the hat. So we are going to do 16 half double crochets in our brim color, which mine is Hot Orchid. And I like to crochet in the chain into that back loop of the chain. Like you have the V's on the front and the little loop in the back. It almost looks like a dashed line. So it's a little bit difficult to get your hook into that first one, but it's the second chain from the hook, and there's a half double crochet. And then again, I guess they're all a little bit difficult. So we'll do 16 half double crochets. Now for that 16th half double crochet, you'll want to yarn over, go through that back loop and pull through, and then switch your color. So kind of in the middle of the stitch. Now I'm going to add that sunset color, maybe eventually. Okay, here we go. Now bring the old color to the front, and then yarn over with the new color and pull through. Now the reason we pull the old color to the front is because after you chain and turn for your next row, that will put the color in the back when you need to pick it up again. You'll see what I mean. And now we're going to do 19 half double crochets in the hat color. And we'll do 7 single crochets, and if we counted everything right, we will have 4 chains that we're going to ignore for now. So we will chain 1 and turn. And now working in the back loop only, the second chain from the hook, or the first stitch. So ignore that turning chain. And then 7 single crochets. And then 19 half double crochets, back loop only. And now we're going to change colors again. So we'll yarn over through the loop, pull through, and bring that old color to the front. And pick up that purple, yarn over, and pull through to finish your stitch. And now we'll do 16 more half double crochet. 15 will be in the back loop only. But our 16th stitch, we're going to go through both loops. It just makes a nicer, straighter looking edge. And now we will chain 2 and then turn. So now you have 16 half double crochets in the back loop only. So for our last stitch, we'll yarn over, go through the loop and pull through, bring that old color, the brim color, to the front, and pick up our hat color, yarn over and pull through. And then 22 half double crochets in the back loop only with our hat color. And I picked up the tail yarn instead of the working yarn, so let's pull that out and try that again. So we will yarn over with our hat color, the working yarn this time, and then 22 half double crochets in the back loop only. So if you counted everything right, you will have 4 more single crochets from the last row to crochet into. So there's 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and 4. And now every time we pass a turning chain, we're going to go through it and pick it up before we do our single crochet. So now, working into our beginning chain, 5 single crochets, 6 single crochet, and 7 single crochet. And now you still have 1 chain left. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn. And 7 single crochet in the back loop only. And then 22 half double crochet, and then we will yarn over, go through the loop, pull through, bring our old color to the front, and then pick up our brim color to finish the stitch. And then we have 16 half double crochets in our brim color. The first 15 are back loop only, and then the 16th stitch on the edge of our hat is through both loops. Both loops. And then chain 2, and turn. So now we have 16 half double crochets in the back loop only. And here I am untangling my yarn. And for our 16th stitch, we yarn over, go through the loop, pull through, bring our old yarn to the front, yarn over with a new yarn, and pull through. And we'll have 19 half double crochets in the back loop only. And now we have 7 single crochets in the back loop only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now that leaves 3 stitches from the previous row and still that 1 chain. We're going to ignore them for now and chain 1 and turn. Now 7 single crochet, back loop only. And 19 half double crochet in the back loop only. In that 19th stitch, we'll yarn over, go through the stitch, pull through, bring our old color to the front, yarn over with our new color, and pull through. And then 16 half double crochet, back loop only. But our 16th stitch is through both loops. The only stitch that's ever through both loops is the one right on the edge of the hat. Everything else is through the back loop only. So our 16th stitch through both loops. And chain 2, and turn. Now we have 16 half double crochet in the back loop only. And then for that 16th stitch again, we will yarn over through the stitch, pull through, bring that old yarn to the front, yarn over with the new yarn. My yarn is a tangled mess. And pull through. And then 22 half double crochets in the back loop only. Oh boy. And I lost my count. And 8 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're passing a turning chain, so we're going to pick it up. 5. In the next row down, 6, 7. Then we're passing a turning chain, so we're going to pick that up. And now we're back to our starting chain, that last chain that we ignored before. We're going through it and making another single crochet. And chain 1 and turn. So 8 single crochet, back loop only. And 22 half double crochets. And we will change colors. Next stitch, so yarn over through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, bring our old color to the front, pick up our new color, and pull through. And then 16 half double crochet, 15 in the back loop only, and the 16th on the edge through both loops. And when I'm trying to record myself crocheting, I tend to make my yarn a tangled mess. And our last stitch through both loops. And we will chain 2, and that is our first 8 rows. So what we have now are our first 8 rows, and what we need to do is repeat those 8 rows 5 more times until we have a total of 48 rows, and then come on back and I will show you how we sew this hat up. So after we do that very last stitch, we're going to chain 1 and then pull a good 2 feet, I mean maybe only 18 inches, but I like to err on the side of caution, and cut our yarn. And then we're just going to pull it all the way through that chain to secure our yarn. And then we will also cut a good 18 to 24 inches of yarn of our hat color. We'll cut that tail. So we're going to use those 2 tails to sew up the hat. But before we begin sewing, we are going to weave in that little short tail of the hat color. Now I sped this up because nobody wants to sit there and watch me weave in ends for multiple minutes. Alright, so now with your beginning chain on the right and your last row on the left, you're going to sew through both loops of that beginning chain. You see right there, both loops. And then the back loop only of our last row. There we go. see that, just the back loop only of our last row. And then both loops of the beginning chain and the back loop only of the next stitch. And then both loops of the next chain and the back loop of the next stitch. I like to do this 5 or 6 times and then pull it tight. And you want to hold the other end so that you don't pull anything beyond your sewing. So both loops and the back of the stitch. Both loops of the chain, back loop of the stitch. And pull everything tight. And now with this last stitch of the brim color, I'm going to go through there, through the next chain, but back through the last stitch. And then re-thread the needle onto the hat color yarn. Before we continue sewing. And just like before, both stitches of the chain and back loop only of the stitch. To sew that hole shut, we're going to pick up the 6 turning chains from each section of 8 rows that we crocheted. Those loops are kind of obvious in the hole if you look closely. Go from the inside out, and that will allow us to cinch that hole. Which is giving me a hard time, of course, because I'm filming and that's how life is. But once you get it to kind of stay, then you're going to go through the last stitch. So basically both loops of the last stitch right near that hole. I apologize for the camera angle. And then we're going to feed that tail to the inside of the hat. To weave in the end. And we'll also weave in our other ends. Now if you look closely here, if you see where those pieces of yarn, they just don't look like the rest of the stitches. And that is the inside of the hat. You have them at the bottom too, kind of. I mean, those don't look bad, but it's just a longer piece from where we change colors. And at the top, it's a longer piece from where we were jumping rows. You can see there aren't any of those longer pieces on the outside of the hat. So then we will fold up our brim. And we just made ourselves a hat. Way to go, guys. So I hope you enjoyed making a hat with me today. And I wanted to show you that I made another hat. It's a solid one, so instead of changing colors, I just did all the stitches with the one yarn, and it was Lion Brand Heartland yarn. One thing, when you switch yarns, So even though I used the same hook sizes and the same stitch count and everything, the Hobby Lobby hat is a tiny bit smaller than the Lion Brand yarn. Now they still both fit me, and they'll actually fit from a small child to an average size adult. And that's important for me because I do donate most of my hats to charities. So you never know who's going to end up with the hat. It's important that it fits a variety of head sizes. So I will show you what it looks like on my skull. So yeah, it does fit. But like I said, if I was going to make this pattern with Hobby Lobby yarn again, I would go up one hook size. And then the Lion Brand hat. Yeah, that's a better fit. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed making the hat today. I guess I already said that. And that's about it. I'll see you next time. Bye.